Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into a really fascinating clinical breakdown from Arbor Vitality that focuses on a nutrient we all know, but honestly, we frequently misunderstand: vitamin C. By the time we wrap this up, you're not just going to see it as some basic cold remedy. You'll understand it as a literal, fundamental architect of our human biology.
Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. We're going to quickly cover the ascorbic acid anomaly, how it acts as the architect of the body, the stark reality of scurvy, optimal dietary sources, and finally, supplement myths and realities.
All right, Section 1, the ascorbic acid anomaly. This is going to establish some incredibly high biological stakes right from the get-go.
So to really understand vitamin C, we actually have to look at its formal name, ascorbic acid. It's a water-soluble essential micronutrient. And that word essential is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. It means our bodies absolutely cannot synthesize this molecule on our own. We are completely outsourcing this critical biological job entirely to our food. Our daily dietary choices matter immensely because of this.
And that brings us to this wild biological anomaly. Not only is there zero production of this vitamin within our bodies, there's virtually zero storage. Unlike fat-soluble vitamins, which, your body can happily tuck away in the liver or in fat tissues for a rainy day, vitamin C is water-soluble. It just doesn't stick around. That makes a constant, regular intake a totally non-negotiable daily requirement just to maintain your baseline biology.
Section 2, architect of the body. Let's move from what this molecule actually is to the powerful biological engine of what it does. And this brilliantly illustrates just how insanely busy this single nutrient really is. We're talking collagen synthesis, massive antioxidant protection, immune support via white blood cells, non-heme iron absorption, wound healing, even neurotransmitter synthesis. It proves that ascorbic acid might be a tiny little molecule, but it has a massive, widespread impact across multiple enzyme systems. Let's zoom in on that very first point, collagen. Think of collagen as the physical scaffolding of your body. It's the primary structural protein in your skin, your tendons, ligaments, blood vessels, even your gums. If you don't have enough vitamin C, that synthesis completely breaks down. The scaffolding literally weakens and becomes unstable. That's exactly why, in severe deficiency states, people experience fragile tissues and bleeding gums. Your body's structural integrity is basically collapsing. It's also an incredible optimizer for iron absorption, specifically non-heme iron. That's the type of iron you find in plants. So if you're eating a diet rich in beans, lentils, or spinach, you definitely want to get the most out of them, right? The clinical takeaway here is to pair those plant-based iron sources directly with vitamin C. Just squeezing some citrus or tossing some bell peppers into a spinach salad makes a night and day difference in how much iron your body actually absorbs. Section 3, the reality of scurvy. Let's look at what actually happens when we fail to supply the body with this critical architect. We all know the famous name for vitamin C deficiency, right? Scurvy. Now, you probably immediately picture 18th century sailors on these long, brutal ocean voyages. But look at these symptoms: severe fatigue, bleeding gums, delayed blood clotting, poor wound healing, joint pain, and anemia. These are not historical artifacts. These are the very real, very current biological consequences of a failing collagen structure and impaired enzyme systems when this crucial molecule is missing today. Let's move to and see how this builds, because scurvy isn't completely extinct. Modern high-risk groups absolutely still exist. You can see it in people with a poor overall diet, lacking fresh whole foods, the elderly who might struggle with reduced absorption, alcoholics dealing with severe nutrient depletion, or anyone on an extremely restrictive diet that cuts out key food groups. The physiological rules simply haven't changed since the days of those long sea voyages. Section 4, optimal dietary sources. Let's transition into some elegant food-first strategies for maintaining vitality. I'm going to pose this question directly to you, because it challenges a really long-held dietary assumption. When we say vitamin C, I bet you instantly picture a big glass of orange juice. But are oranges truly the undisputed kings of ascorbic acid? Now, what's really interesting about this clinical data is oranges are fantastic for sure, but they are frequently beaten out. Golden kiwis are an absolute powerhouse, coming in at the very top. And get this, even strawberries, which totally lack that classic orange or yellow color we always associate with the vitamin, are often much better dietary sources than your standard orange. To really expand your optical dietary list, you've got to think broader. Yes, mandarins, kumquats, and lemons are great, but don't sleep on bell peppers, tropical fruits like guava and papaya, and even green veggies like broccoli. The goal is building practical daily habits. Have a little fruited breakfast, chop some bell peppers into your lunch salad, steam some broccoli for dinner. It's all about that steady daily supply. Section 5. Supplement Myths and Realities. It's time to objectively examine the modern urge to just biohack our way to health by megadosing vitamins. Now, because vitamin C is water-soluble, overtoxicity from taking too much is pretty uncommon. Your body will generally just flush out whatever it doesn't need. And yes, supplementing is super useful if your dietary intake is low or a known deficiency exists, but we have to respect the biology here. More is not always better. Excessive intake through high-dose supplements is certainly not without its risks. So, the crucial point is this contrast here. A food-first strategy utilizing whole foods is going to be sufficient for most people. It provides a natural balance that just won't overwhelm your system. On the flip side, some folks think megadosing supplements is going to turn them superhuman, but those high doses can actually cause diarrhea, abdominal upset, severe cramping, and even kidney stones in susceptible people. Treating a deficiency is vital, but a massive supplement pill isn't a superpower. The Arbor Vitality clinical breakdown summarizes the core ethos of clinical wellness so beautifully with this quote: "Respect the basics. Let nutrition do its quiet work." It just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Eat broadly, understand the mechanics of your biology, but there's no need to force extremes. Vitamin C is just one of the absolute clearest examples of how a tiny, invisible nutrient dictates massive health consequences when it's missing. We are biologically dependent on a molecule we cannot make and literally cannot store. Yet the solution isn't some complex biohack. It's as simple and elegant as what's sitting on our plate right now. Look at your daily habits, your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. Are you letting nutrition do its quiet work?